Welcome everyone for joining us. I'm just going to make sure that we are in fact live here in Goals by Moonlight and see if I can see what's going on here. And make sure that you drop a comment so that I know that you are there, because Facebook isn't always great at letting me know who is and is not with us. So I'm not seeing us live online, but I know sometimes it's a little bit delayed. So we are going to go ahead and get started regardless and hope that we are good, unless we are maybe somewhere else. So yeah, make sure you drop a comment so that I know that it's working. Hopefully I'll be able to see the comments here. If not, still leave all of your questions and we will definitely get back to you after. All right, so I have with me here this wonderful coach, and this is our first full moon feature that we are in person and live with Mariia Kay.
Thank you.
The Pink Lady YMM. She brings a unique blend of power, warmth, and wisdom to the world of intimacy, love, and relationship coaching. She was once a powerhouse in banking and product management at ATB Financial, and she took a leap of faith to follow her true calling of helping people turn their everyday relationships into extraordinary journeys and of joy and connection. She's on a mission to invite more laughter, ease, and self-discovery into her clients' lives, guiding singles and couples alike to embrace their own stories with empathy and confidence.
Thank you, Doris. That sounds very good.
I love having you here with me today. It's so nice to be in person with you, and you're always so refreshing and so insightful that I'm thankful that you could be here with me today and I can share you a little bit with my audience. So tell us a little something about you that we might not see on your resume.
Oh, thank you. So about me, a little bit about me, in addition to all the wonderful things that you have shared. You will hear my accent. It's coming from a magical Soviet Union where I was born and raised. And I, as all little girls in Soviet Union, we all had to go to ballet classes and play piano. So one of the things that I think I want to say that I probably am very, very standard Soviet Union child. However, also I want to say that I turned out to be okay. And for all of you who have children and navigating families, navigating relationships of any sort, relationships with yourself, with your partners, with your children, with your parents, with your siblings, with your co-workers, any relationship. But I wanted to say that it all turns out to be okay with mindfulness and dedication. I was, I think, the most terrible teenager in the world, and I think that my mom got all the gray hair from me, and I just want to say that it turned out to be, now it's all okay, and I'm okay, and you will be okay, and your teenage kids will be okay. It's for those people who have maybe now challenges in relationships. I give you hope.
Absolutely. And you say about relationships, and it strikes me a little bit because, when people say relationships, you automatically think with a spouse. Mm-hmm. But like you said, everything is a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. A relationship with your kids, a relationship with your coworkers, a relationship with all the people around in your life. Mm-hmm. And even if you really want to get esoteric, it's your relationship to life, your relationship to food, your relationship to everything, right? Like all of that. I actually once heard someone say that that they were in an abusive relationship with food. Mm-hmm. Because they eat all the things that beat them up and make them feel terrible.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's amazing how relationships can impact all parts of your life, right?
Yeah.
So thank you very much. All right, so getting back to my questions.
The Pink Lady
went on a bit of a journey there.
Very good.
So now that I went on my journey, I'd love to hear a little bit more about you and what brought you to your journey to becoming the Pink Lady.
Yeah, Pink Lady, maybe let me just also give a little bit of a general journey. The Pink Lady, what is Pink Lady? It is a source, a resource, a place where you can find answers, where you can find even questions. The right questions is half of the answer, and where you can navigate and address your situation with your relationships. And I do specialize in relationships with your partners, whether current partners, so partners that you desire to have, maybe past partners that you would like to release and navigate your future. But really, what was driving me to create Pink Lady is the fact that there is not a lot of resources. There's not a lot of resources that help us build relationships in this world. Everyone is craving authentic, deep connections and build families. We all want to build families that are strong, families that are supportive, families that is the place, the foundation of anything else you do in life, where you know you're understood, seen, heard, accepted for who you are. All of those great things, we all want to create those families. And yet we all know the couples that you see, the ones that are holding hands and giving each other the little signs of affection and signs of love, and you know they've been together for whatever 5, 10, 15, 25 years. We all seen those couples, but let's agree they're rare, and so that's really is the driving force for me. And I myself didn't grow up within an environment where I would see a lot of great examples of what it takes to build a relationship and a family like this, and things to say, things to do, and we all also bring a lot of this conditioning from books, from our cultures, from our families into this life, into our adulthood, and that is what we are. And then we meet another person that has their own baggage of all that past, and so we would love to create those wonderful families, but very few of us grow up in those environments of those families, and so this is what Pink Lady is about, is to help navigate that.
I love that. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. What would you say sets your approach apart from other relationship coaches?
Right. So I like that question in terms of the in terms of the approach. One thing that my certifications, my education, just let's speak theory for now, is really a somatic approach, so that it is different from traditional therapy, where you come to see a therapist and you end up analyzing a lot of what happened, understanding where you're at, understanding why you are where you are, what led you, and it is very logical approach. So the traditional therapy is based on your thinking part of the brain, that logical, the thinking part of the brain that is responsible for rational decisions, to see cause effect. to understand those root causes of the problems, and then you kind of like, oh, okay, well, now I know what happened and why I got where I got. So that's kind of the traditional therapy. Now somatic approach is different in that we aim to get out of your head, to turn your thinking brain off completely, and base that uncovering of what's sitting behind the scene and actually drives your behavior, that limbic system, that primary regulator of your nervous system. And it is when things don't make sense, and in my sessions, and we will probably talk about it a little bit more later, about what a particular like a typical session could look like, but really it is an approach that lets you turn off your thinking brain, allow yourself to release anything that drives you in your day-to-day beliefs, stereotypes, conditioning from society, from your family. Nothing, all of that doesn't matter. And we start digging into what is it that you really want. Actually, what is it that you really want, and why you want that? And a lot of those things are actually kind of buried under the layers of the conditioning, and especially I think with women a lot, what I see is there's conditioned layers of self-criticism, self-denial about the body image or roles in the family, and a lot of these things. So we through somatic approach, we remove all of that and we dig into the truth. What is your truth? And it's quite revealing. You don't have to do anything about it, actually, matter of fact, but just knowing what your truth is very empowering, very empowering.
Yeah, absolutely. So this question just popped into my head, and thinking back on what I've seen and heard of different people online that will say, well, I'm having trouble in my relationship, but my spouse doesn't want to work on it. Do you work with couples only, or can you work with just one person?
Amazing question. Thanks, Doris. Actually, this is a really good question. I would say, so this is, I will start from just like one step before that. Any problem in your relationship, that you think might be coming from circumstances or your spouse doesn't want to do something, your children, whatever, there is one place to start, and the place is with yourself. And even when when I have a couple coming to me, I start from actually working with each of them individually first. And sometimes it's just one session each. Sometimes they require 2 or 3 sessions each before I bring them together to work through combining sessions. There is also, don't get me wrong, there is huge value in working with a couple, even when I work with one of the partners and the other one is witnessing the work. It's sometimes quite transformational for the partner for both, who is witnessing and who is doing the deep work, because the partner who is witnessing, realizing that this other partner that might be very judgmental and calculating the next step and manipulating, that in reality they're actually hurting deep inside, hurting, and they're in pain, and they are scared. And when those things get out, the other partner actually does see this and is more willing to transform and offer this partner more love, more acceptance, more support, and just this radical, unconditional, love, and holding them in their truth, in their vulnerability, and actually being very appreciative of the fact that they see that other person revealing the raw parts of them, parts that maybe not pretty, parts of that are that they themselves ashamed of, and so it actually is very, very healing and deepening that bond between the partners, versus them withholding information before my sessions, thinking, oh, I'm going to be judged, and maybe that person, that my other partner, won't even love me anymore for these parts. So it's completely turned around during those sessions. It's usually really, really satisfying for me to see.
Absolutely. That sounds so rewarding, really, just being able to see that transformation and that acceptance and the coming together.
Yeah. But it's scary to work with coach. It is scary. It is scary. It's we are scared to. We think sometimes, well, I'm scared to reveal something to my partner, so I'm definitely maybe even more scared to reveal it to some stranger, to a coach, and so this step to acknowledge when someone comes to you, Doris, and it is a step as well, because they have to, in a way, acknowledge, I failed to succeed in my goals. So for some people it's easy and like, okay, well, I need help. Hey, Doris, can you help me? But some people, that ego, it's on the way, and they're like, okay, well, I need help, but if I go to Doris, it's like, is Doris smarter than me? And so it's like those things. And when I also have onboarding form clients, I do ask this question: what scares you to work with me? And it's just that revealing of a lot of inner parts is scary as well.
Absolutely. For a lot of people, it's scary to admit things to themselves, let alone to someone else, especially someone you don't know very well. Even if your sessions are completely confidential and completely judgment-free, it's still scary. So it's huge, and it's a lot of courage for them to come to you for something like that, and it is an honor for us.
It is. Yeah. To receive this people, and that's the thing. Like once because I think you nailed it. It's admitting it to yourself first is the scariest part. Is, am I that bad? Like, let's say if I want to divorce and I have children, I'm a horrible human being. Like, how did I promise to this person, and now I found out this is no longer what I want 15 years later, and how do I admit this? How do I admit to myself that I'm this horrible person, or that I am not as successful in building business or achieving my goals as I wanted to, and I don't want to admit it, but because once you say it, it's real. Until you don't say it or write it down. Like, that's why journaling is so powerful. Even if you don't use a coach, but just journal your thoughts. Once they're on a paper, or once they're said out loud, it becomes reality. But until I say it, it's like somewhere in the back of my head. It's not even up till here. It's not even on the front. It's somewhere there. It's kind of semi-expressed in semi-words. It's sort of almost not real. So almost like I'm not really that bad of person, because I kind of like, I didn't say it to anybody. I haven't done anything. And so bringing it from the unconscious to conscious, and saying it out loud, writing it down, makes it a reality, and we're scared of that step.
Absolutely. And then once you make it real, sometimes we judge ourselves for it, which, oh, I'm such a bad person. Well, are you, or are you just a person who's made a different decision, or has come to a different realization, or whatever, right? Like, that's the thing. We judge ourselves, so how are we going to go talk to someone else and feel like they're not going to judge us when we're judging ourselves already, right?
I love this too. And that is a lot in my coaching, and I'm sure maybe with you as well, when clients saying, well, I've asked my partner to take the garbage out, and he doesn't do it, and then I asked this to do this, and he's like, yeah, and he doesn't do it, and I just don't feel heard, and I don't feel like I am actually heard and appreciated. And in those sessions, and it is totally valid. It is a valid, different valid statement, and they definitely experience this. But as also at the same time, I create space for them to reflect on themselves and just sit with a thought. Where in life do you not honor yourself? Where in life you don't hear yourself? You don't do what you need for yourself. When did you not take the bath that you needed to take, or went to the gym when you needed to? You didn't honor your rest when you needed to rest. Like what are you wanted to do? Wanted a painting done, or go and dance, and you didn't do it. In what areas of life did you ignored yourself, your desires, and did not show up for yourself? And it is those little things, not to blame, but it is just what is transpires in the universe, and the universe and then sends us signals in like our partner not hearing us, our partner not showing up for us, and it's like little by little, but it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the only thing you can control is yourself. So really, when you start with what you can control, then you might see a whole different side of things, for sure. Let's move a little bit into intimacy. For the audience listening, for those of you who feel comfortable, I'd like to know what you think intimacy means, or what it means to you. And then Mariia, what is an intimacy coach?
Intimacy coach, again, intimacy is about sacred connection, and I know when we sometimes say intimacy, first that may pop up in our heads is sexual connection, sexuality, which is of course part of intimacy, but not only. It really is a connection, and I like to say the word sacred. I love the word sacred. Sacred is, as it's defined in the dictionary, is either holy or something that is worthy of awe or praise or respect. Is something that something so dear to us, and that's this connection between the two individuals, that is that sacred connection, where we show up in and share ourselves with our partner in this unguarded, unmasked way, where we share everything about ourselves, everything. And it's our self, it's our body, it's our dreams, it's our feelings, it's our fears, it's our emotions, everything. And we feel truly seen and accepted and received and understood and heard, and so everyone really craves that and create that. That is the true intimacy, where that it kind of transcends just the physical presence. We can be, and I this is really my focus right now with couples coaching, specifically for couples that feel like they feel like roommates. They can be physically in the same. They can be even sitting on the same couch, and there is no intimacy. There's no emotional intimacy, mental intimacy. They may have even sex every day, and there will be no intimacy. They are guarded. They're performative. There's masks. There's a lot of hidden stuff going on that is not visible to the partner, and it may go for years and years and years, and they go to bed with heaviness in their hearts, with thoughts, with not even maybe cautious, but only they're unconscious. And so that's what when I talk about intimacy a lot, it's that the physical physical intimacy is just that one layer of expression where you feel connected with your person.
So I love the way that you talk about the layers of intimacy, the physical, the emotional, the mental, all of that. That's fantastic. What if you were in a fairly new relationship and you're looking to build that connection, that intimacy with someone? Where would you start?
It's an amazing question, and it's a tough one because in the beginning of our relationships, we all know from our experiences, from people we talk to, I talk to clients, and it's that you hear those amazing stories how the two people met and how it was magical and how they felt life is just amazing. The world is a better place. It's almost like people are friendlier to you, and food tastes better, and like colors seem brighter around you, and the face looking back at you from the mirror, you're like found fondness in your own image, and you're like, yeah, I actually do deserve that love from my partner. And it's all that so beautiful and magical, and things just happening, and we even we no longer need certain things that used to soothe us, maybe food, extra candy or whatever, cigarettes. Like we forfeit all of that, and then we enjoy the person for beginning, right in the beginning, and it's things just flow. And that's when it's important to, of course, really understand that this is not going to last like that, and in expecting spontaneously sharing like wonderful things about each other, spontaneously having sexual desires, spontaneously and going on dates all the time, all of that will not last like that, because we will want a real person, actually, because we know that we want in that period of relationships, we kind of also appear, we appear a little bit better than we are. We kind of behave a little nicer, we do the hair a little bit more often, and of course if we do it, our partner's doing exact same thing. So it's that. Yeah, and we all know it, and then we know we actually do want the reality. We want the coziness of reality, and then we commit to each other, and then we say, okay, well, I really like you. I want to stay with you for forever and ever. And it's and then the kind of the routine sets in, and when the routine sets in, it's that period where actually the relationship starts. All of that doesn't matter. That's when the relationship starts, and then one day, sometime later, you wake up, you turn around, and you're next to this person you've been with for a few years, and you see that, yeah, they're a real person. They're not this silky skin. You see all the spots and warts and blemishes and pimples, and you see all of that, and you see wrinkles, and you see the right, and the hair here and all this. Like, you see all of this, and then you're just thinking, oh, like, am I really in love with this person? That's when work on relationship starts. That's when work on relationship starts. There is no needed work didn't have to happen before that moment. Everything was beautiful, but now it is. And so all this through all of this from the beginning, as you said, how do you start building that intimacy? And it's really devotion to regular dates. It's building the rituals, and it is really talking about fears, desires, what you love about each other, what you don't like about each other, what you're just generally scared about life. Like actually start practicing being real. From the very beginning, and allow there's no need to push the reality earlier than that. It's beautiful to have the honeymoon, but and so it's nice to let things evolve naturally, but at the same time there is consciousness, as we were talking about before this, that consciousness, that's intentionality, and being real, and having regular conversations, like connection time, sex weekends later on in life, and even years.
Absolutely wonderful. So with all of that being said, what would a typical session look like with you?
Yeah. And it kind of depends on really many factors. So whether you are in a first or second session with me, where we are still in the exploration phase of you. So usually, like, imagine you come to a session, the first session or two, we are just exploring you and all the layers and facets of you and your life, and we are exploring your connection to your body again, because remember, there's a somatic approach, calls for being attuned to the body signals, to this inner wisdom, intuition. So I do coach through the first session or two to listen to your body, to attune to the intuition. So we do talk a lot, and we put a lot of emphasis on that. And we do de-armoring practice, ritual. We do breath work to release, to ground. And I teach you to get into this, what I call alpha state. It's not quite hypnosis, but so you're not sleeping, but you're kind of not 100% like awake with your eyes wide open. So my sessions are like basically most of the time you'll be sitting with or laying down with your eyes closed, and you're really introspectively attuned, and basically whatever is happening outside of the world doesn't matter. With, again, knowing our brain, your brain will wander around, and sometimes it would wander off, but I'll gently teach you to bring it back. And so it's that. So we're exploring your mind-body connection. We are exploring what you really want. We are doing the desire mapping. So there's this usually first couple sessions, one or two, and then. But if you're my client that is maybe on the session 5 or 6, and we have identified already, okay, well, we know what exactly the problem areas, and then it might be we are working on sensuality. We're expanding your sensuality. We might be working on your mother wounds. There might be certain things you find, I'm really anxious in my attachment, right? And then there's certain relationships that, like, I feel like I am the like when women feel that they're in their masculine a lot, and they want to drop into like give themselves permission to drop into the feminine, because we find this also loop when the woman would say, okay, well, I am in my masculine because he's not taking control of things, he drops the ball, he doesn't do what needs to be done, so I need to get in, I'm in control of everything that's happening, I'm in my my strong masculine self. And so there's this play of energies, and it really impacts the sexuality and that dynamic as well. So it depends. And then but usually what it is that I start with first 5-10 minutes. There's welcome, reflection, accountability, follow-up and grounding. So I ground you and we get you to that alpha state. And then there is usually 20 minutes or 25 minutes of really deep work, exploratory healing work that may touch on your past wounds or even ancestral wounds. So trusting your body to lead you through that and allowing things not make sense, and a lot of that might be breath work as well in addition with that. And then there is 15 minutes of action planning, accountability, follow-up agreements, and then we do the closing ritual and wrapping up in the last 5-10 minutes. So it's usually an hour and 10 minute session.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That sounds like you cover a lot in a session, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it goes through different phases, you know, the beginning when they first start coming to you, and then as they get deeper, and then...
Yeah, it depends. So yeah, it usually there is exploratory stage, and then it depends. Like clients would go in circles. They need to also, like usually 3-4 sessions, and then we take a break. So they need to integrate and implement things that they have uncovered about themselves, things they have decided to, let's say, certain steps to take, and then see how things work out in the relationship. If they see what worked particularly well, what maybe still need further adjustment, and then usually it's also quite transformative for nervous system. One just needs a break from 3-4 sessions, and then we usually give it a month, and then we go back to another maybe 2-3 sessions. So it goes in the loops, and then I should go actually not instead of up, go down, because then it go deeper and deeper, like you said.
Yeah, beautiful. So to everyone who is listening, what is one quality that you value the most in a relationship? I'd love for you to drop that in the comments and let us know so we can chat. And of course, if at any time you have any questions for Mariia, that you go ahead and put them in here. So Mariia, do you find that relationship struggles often mirror challenges that people are facing in other areas of their life, like their career or something else?
Yes, or maybe it can be struggles, but it's just how we show up in our relationships. Usually it mimics or it's the same as we show up anywhere else. We like to think that we are different at work than we are at home. However, the core values that we carry and that drive our behaviors, reactions, emotions, they're the same, whether it is at work or whether it's at home. However, in light of relationships, I also want to say there is a theory, and I will share the research. The overall, it has been found out that probably it's just very logical, that happier the client people that report being happier at home are also report higher engagement at work and high job satisfaction. And it's just something that I also want to bring up within this context right now, when there is so much happening in the world. There's tariffs coming up, there is elections, and there is a lot of instability in the world. There is inflation. People have harder time paying rent or buying even groceries for buying things for the children. So all of that can create a lot of stress and a lot of uncertainty, insecurity, instability, and really grief and panic, and just scared, being scared about life. And so what I hear people say, when I will get a good job, I will be more happier, and I don't have sex with my husband right now because I'm too scared about my job outcomes, or I have too much at work to whatever. And the reason I am like I'm not having even sex with my husband because maybe I'm insecure about my body, or there's a lot of things that just external that we project on the relationships. However, research has shown times and times again that it works actually the other way around. If those people who feel more connected and happier and emotionally and physically satisfied in their relationships, they feel less stressed. They can manage their job stress, level of stress, amounts of stress better. They actually lose weight faster. They get into shape faster. They have just that resistance to face the adversities in the world, and calculate budgets in a lot more emotionally regulated way. So all of those things, and not the other way around. Small business owners, we know that entrepreneurs are working 24/7. There is no 9 to 5 in the entrepreneurship world. And I hear also stories that, well, right now my business is in this growth stage, and I just need to really put all my all into this next push.
Move on to the next question. And my question was, how can someone recognize when it's time to seek support from a coach?
Mm-hmm. Okay, we can probably put it down.
Okay, good call.
That will be more cozy here. Hi guys. Support. I think this is also very important to say right here, is that there's a difference between and I'm gonna say relationship or intimacy therapist versus coach. Now, therapist is addressing problems. So I would say if you have deep problems where you're, especially from the sexuality perspective, there are concerns of medical almost nature, where you think you might even need medications to be prescribed or things like that, where you think you might have clinical depression or deep trauma that might require certain deep intervention. That is where therapy comes in. Now, I'm the coach. Coach is the one that makes sure you will never need therapists. And it is life strategy. So I'm not prescribing medications. I'm not doing a lot of that thing. But what I do is I will give you life strategies to avoid problems. I will give you ideas on reviving the spark in the relationships. Anything. It's even that if you think, okay, well, my relationship is good. Do you want your relationship to be like awesome? Do you want make a nice surprise for your hiring a relationship coach, intimacy coach is almost can be a Valentine's Day present, a birthday present, a Christmas present, and just a sign of, hey, I love you, why don't we do something fun together? And there is this specialist that can give us lots of ideas and practices, and just to make sure we're on the same page. Now, here's the thing, like when you're a couple and you're in your, let's say you've been together for a while and you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s, there is no way you can expect that your sex will be exactly the same as you had it in your 20s, or like that expectation from both partners have changed. There is different desires, there's different physical capabilities, there's different things, and we don't want to finish this. And so then, in that sense, just going on regular coaching kind of engagements, going for just like a session or two every twice a year or something, is an amazing way to stay connected, to stay on the same page, to just if you have agreed on certain thing as a couple, let's say money is a huge one for relationships, right? And if you have maybe you now in a different money bracket, or maybe you have reconsidered certain things, you don't know because you don't have these conversations all the time. Coach can be a great framework for you to just kind of address it in a non-confrontational way, in a very friendly and fun way, and that way you kind of stay aligned.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So for everyone listening, we are not seeing comments here, but we will definitely get back to the comments and the questions that come up afterward. But I do want to know, what is one thing that you love doing with your partner to strengthen your bond? And please share your ideas. Now, Mariia, what is one unexpected or underrated tip for creating more intimacy in a relationship? Something that maybe people overlook.
Yeah, for sure. I think there is one thing that comes again and again and again in a lot of research that I am monitoring lately. Specifically, what are the factors that correlate to satisfaction levels in the relationship between couples, and specifically physical, from the intimacy perspective, satisfaction. And it's interesting and very revealing that it's actually not the physical part almost at all. It's not about how often you have sex or where you have it, how you have it. None of that actually matters. But what was one highest predictor of the high satisfaction of the relationship and physical satisfaction from the relationship was cuddling after sex. So 3 to 5 minutes of cuddling, and that's across continents. So the sample groups were respondents on those on that research was taken from across different cultures, across different gender orientations, different age groups, and the highest predictor was found to be cuddling. So, and you don't have to cuddle for hours on end, but it's specific time. It's cuddling after sex for 3 to 5 minutes. That's all, and it's quite often overlooked from both men and women. And sometimes women would say that, well, yeah, we just had it done, and then he turns around and starts snoring right away, which is, guys, we have guys here maybe watching, that is a true thing, and it's kind of not their fault. Their system is working this way. They get, as women, after orgasm, we actually get activated, and the guys get actually sort of deactivated. Their system goes in full relaxation. So it is probably a little bit more effort from them, but this is extremely important. It may be a deal breaker for your marriage. If you want to save your marriage, cuddle. You both guys cuddle after sex for 3 to 5 minutes.
Awesome. What a great tip. All right, so we are going to start wrapping this up. So if anybody has any questions, put them in the chat, and I will see if I can get them now, and if not, I will make sure that Mariia gets them and can answer those questions. So Mariia, if you could leave our audience with one piece of advice to build stronger, more intimate relationships, what would that be?
One piece of advice is authenticity. It's the currency that nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. Money, success, being pretty in your best shape of your life, beautiful body, face, shape, none of that matters. It's not what our partners fall in love with, and if they are, that's the wrong partner, by the way, telling you this. It's the authenticity. And as we mature through life, stay authentic to yourself and acknowledge that you change. You both change. It is important to stay aligned. So whether it is quarterly retreats or even once a year, on, let's say, January 2nd, you have 3 hours together, and each of you take turn and say, okay, in the last 12 months, is there anything I did that hurt you? And if the partner still remember it to date, and if they didn't forget it until in the 2nd of January, it is worth bringing it up, and it is worth for the other partner to hear and listen and take note of it and adjust. If by that time whatever happened throughout 12 months already been forgotten, that also something is, whenever you feel like you want to bring up to your partner, just think about the fact that if it will survive till 2nd of January, then maybe bring it, don't wait till 2nd of January, bring it up right away. But it may not, give it a few days, it may not, and just not always needed to be brought up. But that alignment is necessary. Those conversations to kind of check in. It's almost like I'm checking in with you. How are you feeling in this relationship? Am I being a good partner for you? How can I be a better partner for you? And of course, expecting the other partner to do the same. And that's really what it is. And just sometimes not being afraid. Life changes. We change. Successful relationships. Before we wrap up, I also want to just say, the world is moving away from traditional definition of successful relationship being the longevity of the relationship. In the past, the successful relationship was defined as I will be with this person till the end of my days, no matter what. No matter disagreements, struggles, arguments, no matter what, and in the past, it was a social contract that was necessary to bring up kids, to actually coexist in a society. Simply, it was necessary to stay together. But now, the world is changing, and if your relationship is no longer serving you, and there is no there is an invitation to think through, and some relationships exist to literally help us grow, to help us learn something about ourselves, and we can lovingly release that relationship, knowing that we've grown from it, we've learned something from it, and it was successful from that perspective, and that other person has learned something, and then you can navigate the world in a lot more mature state, knowing yourself better, and there's no need to suffer. So of course, we all know that when the kids are in the picture, there's a lot more complexity with that, but yet remember that your kids don't do what you tell them to do, they do what you actually do. And so if you suffer and if you normalize it, and you believe that you live in a sexless marriage, and you explain it, oh, I live for my kids, I'm in here for my kids. Your kids are watching you and thinking that's what normal is, and if you want them to live that life, and then it's a personal decision. So I just wanted to leave this with you to define what success is for you.
Beautiful. I love that. That is, what a way to end this today. Please let us know what your takeaway is from this. And Mariia, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, I will make sure that we have it in the description. But also, in case they're driving right now and they want to make note of it, what's the best place for them to contact you?
Find me on Facebook or my website. My website is www.thepinkladyYMM.com.
Okay? So thepinkladyYMM.com. Thank you very much, everyone, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Hopefully you're still with us, and thanks again. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you, and I want to thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate you created this wonderful container for us to connect, for me to connect with your audience. I'm sure they're all brilliant people as you are, and so I appreciate your exposure to your people and your tribe. Thank you.
Well, you're always welcome in the group. So Mariia is in the Goals by Moonlight group, everyone. So if you guys do have any questions, you can always tag her in a question in the group, as well as myself and any of the other guests that we have here. And I wish you all the best, everyone.
Thank you.
Always remember, you matter, so please take care.